This is question number 18, and we are told the length in centimeter of pencils used by pupils in a standard 1 class on a certain day were recorded as follows. So we have 3 centimeter, 7, 9, up to 11. The data is mixed up. So part A, we are told using a class width of 3 and starting with the shortest length of the pencil, make a frequency distribution table for the data. So I'm going to make my frequency distribution table here, and I'll have the first column, which I'll label as the class. Then I have another column for the midpoint. I'll use MP, which I use as X. Then I'll have another column, and this column will be for the frequency, which is F, and the last column will be for the product of Fx, that is the midpoint and the frequency. So I'll start with the lowest data here. You can observe it is 3. So I'll say my class, the first class is from 3 to 5. Those are 3, the class width is 3. So if you check, the midpoint here is 4. So how many are they? So we have that is 1, that is 3, this is another one, and that's another one. We don't have another one, so there are 3. So that is the frequency. The next class is from 6 to 8. The midpoint is 7. Then we get the number of data that are in between 6 and 8. We check from our data here. So we will start with 7, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, then we have 5, we have 6, and then we have 7. Those are 7. Let's check whether there is another one. Those are 7. We have 8. So they are 8. So the frequency is 8. Then our next class is from 9 to 11. 9 to 11. The midpoint is 10. Then we check the number of data that are in between 9 and 11. So this will be, we have 1, we have 2, we have 2, we have 3, then we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, we have 7, we have 8, we have 9, we have 10, 11, 12, 13. So they are 13. So we have 13. Our next class is from 12 to 14. The midpoint here is 13. So we count the number of data in between 12 and 14. So here we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, we have 7, we have 7, we have 8, we have 9 and 10. So they are 10. So the frequency here is 10. The next class is 15 to 17. The midpoint is 16. So we get the number of data in between that class. So between 15 and 17, then we have, this is 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 3, and we have 4. So the number of data there is 4. The next class is 18 to 20. The midpoint is 19. We get the number of data in between that class. So we have 20. I think there are only 2 remaining. So we have the number of data there is 2. So that is what we get. Then we multiply to frequency times the midpoint, and here we will be able to get 4 times 3 is 12, 7 times 8 is 56. Then we have 10 times 13 will give us 130. 13 times 10, 13 times 10 you get 130. Then we have 16 multiplied by 4, you get 64. So that will give us 64. And finally we have 19 times 2. That will give us 38. So we put a line there. You are going to add this. You use your calculator to get the sum of fx. And when you add up this, you get 430. The frequency you add, you get it is 40. So that is the frequency distribution table, which you get 2 marks. Then we have calculate the mean length of the pencil. To get the mean, we get the mean. We use x bar. It is normally calculated summation of fx divided by summation of f, which is equals to summation of fx is 430. You divide by summation of f, which we got 40, and when you divide using your calculator, you get that is 10.75. So that is the mean. The second part of part B, the percentage of pencils that were longer than 8 centimeter but shorter than 15 centimeter. So if you look at the number of pencils that were longer than 8, they are from that is from 9 to 11 and 12 to 14. So that is the range. So we can say 13 plus 10, that will give us the 23. So we say this is 23 divided by the total number of the pencils. You multiply by 100, and using your calculator you'll be able to get that is 57.5%. So those are the pencils that were in between 8 centimeter but shorter than 15 centimeter. We go to part C. On the grid provided, draw a frequency polygon for the data. So to plot the frequency polygon, we are going to use a midpoint and the frequency. So I'm going to do that on the graph. So this is the graph paper that I'm going to use. I've said that we use a midpoint and the frequency. I've already inserted the midpoint and the corresponding frequency. So I'll start here. On the vertical scale, I'll have as 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and that is 14. So this is my frequency. Then along the x-axis, here I'll use 2. I'll say 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. We have 20. We can have 22, 24. So that is our length of the pencil. So this is the length of pencil. So we have our first class was from 3 to 5, and the midpoint was 4. So we can start. The previous class must have been from 0, that is 1 to that is 0 to 3. So the midpoint must have been 2. Then the other class is from 3 to 5. The midpoint is 4 and the frequency is 3. The frequency is 3, so we put our point here. The second class, the midpoint was 7 and the frequency was 8. So we have our 7. Let's correct that. The midpoint of the first one must have been 1 because the class is from 0, 1 and 2. Then the other one, the midpoint was 4 and the frequency was 3. So that is where we have our point. The second one, the midpoint was 7 and the frequency was 8. So we have 7 and the frequency was 8. So 7 is somewhere there. Then we have the other one. Midpoint was 10 and the frequency was 13. So that is where we have our 13. The next one was the midpoint was 13 and the frequency was 10. So 13 and 10. So that's where we have 13 and 10. Then we have the next one was 16 and 4. So the frequency was 4 and the midpoint was 16. Then we have 19. The frequency was 2. So we have our 2 there. So from 20, we have 21, 22, 23. So the midpoint must have been 22. From there, we join this point and we'll come up with the frequency, the polygon. So this is a frequency polygon. And the distribution of the marks is you are given mark for the scale, plotting you get 1, and the curve you get 1. So that is how you earn marks in this section. Let's go back to the other section and see how the marks were distributed. So in this one, you get a mark for getting the midpoint. You get another mark for identifying the frequency, and you get another mark for multiplication and addition to get the total fx. When it comes to the mean, you get 1 mark for the method and 1 mark for the answer. Then for this one, you get 1 mark for the method and 1 mark for the answer. And the total, you should be at total up to 10 marks. So that's how you are supposed to answer that question. This is from the Form 2 topic, statistics, where you are taught the statistics one.